Salve, salve, aquaristas! Sejam muito bem-vindos ao canal Riftech. Hoje o show é especial. Hoje nós temos um convidado internacional aqui no nosso podcast. Infelizmente ele não está aqui ao vivo fisicamente, mas já está online, conectado. Meu amigo Luquinha, hoje você tá famoso, hein, velho? Hoje a conexão é via San Diego, Califórnia. E nós temos aqui nada mais, nada menos do que Dani Huynh, da Kung Fu Corals. E o Dani é conhecido mundialmente, aquarista de muitos anos, depois voltou agora e tem feito um trabalho fenomenal com corais LPS. Mas quem quer ver Acróporas, fica aqui e não vai embora, porque nós vamos falar também de Acróporas, de vários outros tipos de corais, e o papo aqui vai ser hoje muito legal. E no final deste podcast hoje, nós vamos fazer um anúncio. Porque todos vocês desejam ter muitos corais que existem nos Estados Unidos, que até hoje, de muitas maneiras, foram inacessíveis, né? Porque geralmente as importações vêm de Indonésia, vêm de Austrália. Então vocês vão entender hoje como vocês vão ter acesso a corais como os que a Kung Fu Corals comercializa lá nos Estados Unidos. Então, hello, Mr. Danny. How are you, my friend? Welcome to our show.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me. This is a pleasure to be on your show.
Oh, this is not only my show. We have now 252 people watching us, man. So it's everybody's show here. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves LPS corals, and everybody wants to keep corals healthy. So it's our pleasure. Okay.
Definitely. Glad to answer any questions you have today. And this.
Yeah. And also, it's a pity you are not here in person. Otherwise, you're going to get some pizza and some beverage here together with us and enjoy here, man. But probably in the future, we're going to have you here. I'm sure about that, okay?
I will definitely try and make my round to Brazil. One place I would love to visit.
Yeah. Pessoal, então o Dani está na Califórnia e mais especificamente em San Diego. Quem não esteve em San Diego ainda, eu recomendo. Se você vai para os Estados Unidos, visite San Diego. É uma belíssima cidade. E se você gosta de cerveja, você tem ainda mais um motivo para visitar San Diego. Do you know, have any idea how many breweries we have in San Diego? 1,000 probably.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I don't drink beer anymore, but there's a lot of nice breweries in San Diego. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my preferred is Ballast Point. I don't know if you know them, but Ballast Point is the best, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, and also you have many attractions in San Diego too. So I'm just saying the people to visit San Diego and visit Kung Fu Corals, obviously. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Okay. We have many questions here come up in the screen. You are not seeing probably because I'm only with you with Zoom, but in YouTube they are popping up here in our screen. I'll leave all these questions to the middle of the show here. I have some questions from you that we built it before, but many of them are very similar with the questions we are coming up here, okay, Dani? And I'm going to be translating the show for the people. Então, pessoal, tem muita pergunta de vocês aqui pipocando. Deixa aqui, vai guardando aí, ô Luquinha, tá? E só para avisar para vocês, eu não vou chamar o Luquinha hoje do apelido dele, né, usual, que vocês conhecem, por uma questão ética, obviamente, que não é legal, os americanos não gostam disso, eu até já expliquei pro Dani, tá? Fala. Não, é isso aí? Podemos seguir? Então, já vou pegar aqui a primeira pergunta, então, pro Dani, tá? E fazer o seguinte. Dani,
Yes.
tell first, first, a disclaimer. If people like Acroporas, stick around. We will talk about Acroporas too here. Okay.
Right. We love all type of corals.
I'm a big lover of acros. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, we are not talking only about torches and LPS and Euphyllias and Fimbraphyllias. So tell the people quem é o Dani? Quem é a Kung Fu Corals? Who's Dani? Who's Kung Fu Corals?
Okay. Well, my name's Danny. If you don't know me, I originate the Kung Fu Coral dip.
Isso. Oh, your connection is fading a little.
dip. Basically, for but known for. Let me.
Hey, Danny, your connection is freezing a little. Yes, it's your connection. I don't know.
How's that?
Now it's come back. Yeah, you can repeat, please.
Okay, so my name is Danny. I founded Kung Fu Coral, and we're actually famous for the KFC dip or the Kung Fu Coral dip. We love Euphyllia. That was my number one love, but that was the coral with the most problem. And so after many years of trying it out and accepting the loss on Euphyllia, where people say it's just a new import or wild coral, they do that. One year we decided that that's not acceptable. There's got to be a way to keep these coral happy. Otherwise, we should probably just leave them in the ocean. And what we found out was that it's a bacterial infection that was causing this, like brown jelly. We don't know what caused brown jelly, but we know that once you get brown jelly, it could infect the other coral. And so
just let me translate into this part. Então, o Dani está dizendo que ele é o Dani e ele é mais conhecido como criador do protocolo KFC. E ele, como a maioria de vocês, ele é apaixonado por Euphyllias, tá? Mas durante muitos anos ele sofreu com, né, uma infecção causada por um negócio chamado brown jelly, que ainda não se sabe qual é a causa, a origem do problema, mas que chegou um momento tão crítico que ele falou, eu tenho que fazer alguma coisa. E eu tenho que começar a estudar isso aqui porque meus corais que chegam às importações, eles começam a sofrer. Então, ou eu faço alguma coisa, ou eu deixo esses corais na natureza. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, so I think I'm probably known best for the dip and for keeping healthy, bright Euphyllia, because that's just one of the corals that we never gave up on. We kept trying, and we work on it a lot, and we just kind of like perfected it, I think, to the point where we're very known for torches and hammers, as well as saving coral.
Yeah, ele basicamente falou que ele sempre se preocupou, então, basicamente em criar um protocolo por causa dos torches, tá? Mas que isso foi se ampliando e cada vez mais agora o DIP é empregado em outros tipos de corais também.
Another coral that we're known for, which we'll share with you at the end, are like SPS. There's a certain SPS that everyone has problem keeping, but we really don't have that much issue keeping this type of coral. So we can talk about that towards the end after we talk about Euphyllia. And I think it's the same issues with all type of coral. People have problem keeping corals. I think it's because of bacterial issues instead of parameter issues.
O que ele disse também que nós vamos falar sobre outros tipos de corais depois, mas que todos os tipos de corais têm os seus problemas, tá? Muitos relacionados com bactéria e que por falta de informação, isso é algo que prejudica muito o aquarismo. Nice, Danny. So I think this is your initiative that you had. It's very beneficial for the hobby. You don't see too many people doing what you did with KFC dip, but this. As you see that this is so important that you became world famous. If someone says LPS, they say Danny Kung Fu Corals. Period. Ok. Eu falei para ele, a gente não vê muitas pessoas que se preocupam em fazer algo parecido, né? Ele ficou mais de anos testando isso aí. E tanto que ele desenvolveu alguma coisa, e se você fala coral LPS, hoje você fala automaticamente em DIP KFC. Basicamente isso aí. You are world famous, respected, and reef entrepreneur and LPS expert. Tell us how you became interested on LPS. Então eu perguntei para ele que ele é mundialmente famoso, conhecido, respeitado, empreendedor, é um expert em LPS, e para ele dizer para a gente como é que surgiu o interesse dele com LPS. Ih, deu freeze de novo. Deu um freeze de novo no...
Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah, you are coming back.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's
Okay.
good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now yeah.
Okay. So how I'm interested in LPS? I think the first time I just saw a torch is just like mesmerizing. The way it flows and stuff like that. It was just beautiful. Out of all the corals, that was just the one thing that was just had life. I mean, everything is alive, but that seems to have a life of its own. It moves. The best thing about torches is like there's so many you can collect. I think everyone that's in this hobby likes to collect every single color of the corals they love, right? So with torches, there's so much variety you can collect, and they move. It just, I mean, you just fell in love with it. It just calls to me. Unfortunately, I didn't know it. I didn't know at the time, but that was one of the harder corals you could actually keep. It's very difficult to keep healthy and alive. And so I've spent thousands of dollars, never giving up. And I think with this hobby is either you give up too quickly or you just persevere and eventually you'll succeed. Right. So we just never gave up on it.
Yeah.
Have to have it and have to have it correctly, right?
Ele disse que se apaixonou por torte desde a primeira que ele viu um torte. Quando ele vê esse movimento que o torte tem, todos esses tipos de cores que os tortes têm, e se apaixonou e aí começou a estudar, a ver os diferentes tipos que são coletados e por aí foi, né? Então é muito interessante isso aí. And Danny, just one curiosity here. Many people ask me if all these torches colorations, they are original from the corals collected in the reef, or some of these colors are variations that are created inside, you know, farmers like you have, or hybrid, or what else? Just let me translate it to Portuguese. Muitas pessoas me perguntam se todas essas colorações de tortes que a gente vê são realmente espécies que são coletadas no recife de coral, ou são espécies que vão se modificando quando se coloca no aquário, ou vão até criando espécie híbrida porque se reproduzem.
I actually had a couple of reefer in Indonesia ask me about how I color up torches. And I thought it was funny because he said the torches come from his country, but the colors I'm getting out of them are so much nicer than anything he saw locally in Indonesia. So that tells me that, you know, it's something with our environment, definitely the nutrition level and the artificial lighting has a lot to do with the way the color the torch grows. So one clear thing to see is when you're getting imported torches, some of them are bright. Holy grails are sometimes all green. There's no yellow. And we pull those color out, I think, from the LED or the spectrum we give them. So 100%, the color you see in our reef tank, I think it's going to be a lot nicer than if you went scuba diving and saw these torches in person. I have a feeling they would be more brown, yellow, brown, green, or purple, and not the gold yellow that we see in our reef tank.
Ele disse que muitas das cores que os LPS que estão no nosso aquário hoje são adquiridas pela nutrição, pelo tipo de iluminação, né, fluxo, e que se a gente mergulha, a maioria das cores que a gente vê é marrom, verde, roxo, né? Então isso é muito interessante, ou seja, essa transformação existe, mas por causa da mudança da morfologia de cores, né? Tá? Não que são espécies que foram criadas híbridas ainda, né? Tá? Nice. Question for you. Shall I feed my corals if something is visually wrong with especially torches, let's say that, no? Can I stress more the coral, or it's okay to feed when he looks bad? Pessoal, vou perguntar para ele aqui, se quando o coral tiver ruim, se ele estiver sofrendo por alguma coisa, é bom eu alimentar esse coral? Ou isso faria bem pro coral ou poderia fazer mal?
That's interesting because we used to feed our torches a lot. healthy corals and stuff. But I've changed my direction with that. I think torch that's unhealthy should not be fed any type of physical food, like solids. Like if you're using LPS food of some sort, some pellets, mices, whatever it is, I would not feed that to a torch that is still recovering or corals that's recovering. I think it's too much for them. In fact, I think feeding a liquid type of amino acid or liquid type of food where they can soak it in through their tentacles, where they're not having to digest much or expel solids, I think that's much better. In addition, usually when torches have issues, the skeleton is exposed, and by dumping food directly on the skeleton, I feel like you're trapping these detritus or food in the skeleton that pods or other creature could come after it and further stress out the torch. So I think my position on that would be, do not feed a coral that is recovering. Maybe when the flesh is all healed, then you can feed some solids, but then you have to make sure the fish doesn't get to the food. Otherwise, you're training the fish to eat the coral.
Yeah, ele disse que ele alimenta bastante os corais dele porque ele gosta disso aí, mas que ele mudou a ideia dele de alimentar corais que estão com problema. Por quê? Porque você mais vê o coral se prejudicando do que tomando vantagem em se alimentar por partículas, tá? Que aí sim, ele alimenta com aminoácidos, ele alimenta com outros tipos de nutrição líquida, mas jamais com partículas. E outro caso também, que essas partículas podem ficar no esqueleto e outros animais vão lá e começam a estressar mais ainda o coral. Tá? It feels like, Danny, the coral is using his energy that is very small to keep him alive, you know, and we are trying to make him spend more energy to eat, you know. I feel like that, you know.
I think so. I think that's exactly it. And the nice thing about corals, they can get their energy from many different ways, right? They can use photosynthesis. So if you give them energy in the least stressful way, I think they have a much better chance of recovery. Give them what they need, but not so stressed with solid food.
Yeah. Deu o que o coral precisa, mas não estressa o coral, não deixa, né? O coral, ele pode obter energia de várias fontes, tá? Então deixa ele das fontes naturais que é melhor. Nitrato, fosfato, né? Luz, uma luz branda, não muito forte, tá? Então isso é bem legal aí, o que o Dani falou, tá? Yeah, a very interesting position that comes with people about corals is that they come to us and say, my LPS are dying, but my parameters are okay. No? And my first comment or question is, what is okay for you? Okay is it's a broad position.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Well, okay can be good for you, not okay for me first. Okay.
Right.
So people would love to know what DKH do you use, you know, what calcium, what magnesium, what nitrate, what phosphate do you use, you know, before to say and do a KFC dip, you know. Let's evangelize people. What is okay first?
Right.
That's the idea.
So I have a lot of questions similar to what you have questions about as well. Like when people come to me with problem, I go, what are your parameters? And most of the response was like, they're all perfect, they're all good. I'm like, okay, what is perfect, what is good? Do you have numbers? And then once you figure out the numbers, you can say, okay, they're okay, or your magnesium's low. So for us, we keep our corals from DKH 7 all the way up to 10 and 11 sometimes. And it fluctuates. It's never stable. Magnesium is always high, like 14 to 1500. And then calcium, we don't really check, but it's usually 450 and above. Phosphate, we try to keep at 0.1, 0.15 because of the mass amount of corals we have. The last thing we want to do is have zero nitrate, zero phosphate, which is worse for us than having some algae. And then nitrate, anywhere from 10 to 20, I think it's good. In a regular tank, my recommendation would be keep things normal. Alkalinity 8 to 9. Calcium 420 to 450. Magnesium 1400 to 1500. Nitrate at 10 to 15 maybe. And then phosphate 0.08 to 0.1. I think if you keep those parameters, I think LPS, most coral will grow perfectly well in that. Keep your pH up, 8.2, 8.4, 8.5. And that's about it. There's really
Cool.
not too much to corals, right?
Yeah, pessoal, muitas pessoas chegam até a gente e perguntam assim, Jeff, meus LPS estão morrendo, mas meus parâmetros estão ok. E aí o que eu faço ao comentário, eu pergunto cara, o que é ok pra você? Me dá números. E foi exatamente a resposta dele. E o ok, geralmente, nunca tá dentro dos parâmetros que a gente acha que são ok. Tá? Ele disse que nas baterias dele, ele mantém de 7, às vezes até 11, dependendo da origem de reserva. Tá? Magnésio, 1400, 1500. Cálcio, 430 para baixo. Tá? Nitrato, de 10 a 20. Fosfato, até 0,15. Tá? O que é ideal pra gente? Mantém 8, ele falou. Não brinca com 11, com reserva alta. Tá? Ele falou o que ele faz lá nas condições da bateria dele. Nitrato de 10 a 15. Fosfato, 0,15. Tá? Então são números interessantes pra gente ver, tá? Que como manter corais antes de você pensar em fazer um DIP. Esse é o motivo dessa pergunta, tá? Yes, I totally agree, Danny, with these parameters you have. Yeah, I hear we never reach it with 11 of DKH because we have all the other animals in the reef too that can be stressed for them. So we try to keep in 7.5. Okay,
Right.
I think it's a good number. It's a safety number for everybody. I don't know if you agree with that. You know, for up and
natural,
down.
Yeah. Natural salt water is that's close to natural salt water, seawater.
Yeah.
So 7.5 is perfect. I've had people, our DKH sometimes goes down to 6 and all the way back up. And we sometimes do that on purpose because I want to build tolerance for the coral. So they're used to 6 DKH, they're used to 7, 8, and the one that can take the swing, I think in long term, the highest survival rate if you have a swing in your tank.
And you do that on purpose? You pull down for 6 on purpose?
We try not to go down to 6, but we go down to like 7, then up to like 9, and then go down, back down, up and down. Yeah.
So you do all this up and down to acclimate the coral?
We go up and down because we want to build tolerance for the coral at different DKH.
Different conditions.
Not corals make it. You know, like the weaker ones can't handle going from 7 to 9, but the stronger one, no problem. 7 to 9, back down, 7 to 9. Every other week, they're fine.
Ele diz que faz essa flutuação de 7 a 10 e etc, porque ele está aclimatando o coral e ele quer que ele se acostume com essa variação. Olha que coisa legal isso aqui nós estamos aprendendo hoje. Ele é uma loja, ele é um importador, tá? Exatamente para selecionar o que tem de melhor. Os que são mais tolerantes com o negócio. Essa é we are learning something new here, man, with you.
It's something that I feel is like everyone thinks corals are very sensitive, but I think we make them sensitive by making things too stable.
Yeah.
But if you kind of like, hey, challenge them a little bit, I think they're gonna survive. I mean, the corals survive so much stuff. Just like raising your kids, if your kids are too pampered, they can't handle a fall, right? But if you're like rough them up a little bit, they can handle more things get thrown at them in life.
Yeah.
So a little bit tougher is okay.
Ele faz isso exatamente porque ele quer testar o estresse do coral, ele quer aclimatar o coral para essas condições que nós temos uma grande variedade de tipos de aquários, então ele já prepara o coral dele para isso. Então, excelente, isso que a gente está aprendendo aqui hoje. Dani, so now let's jump into the problem. What is brown jelly? O que é brown jelly, pessoal? Essa é a pergunta para ele, tá?
I think brown jelly is just defined as like when you have a coral that is dying, bacteria colonies will form on it and it looks brown and it looks like a jelly type skeleton. So it's been dubbed brown jelly disease. I disagree with the disease part, right? I don't think it's actually a disease. I think brown jelly is a secondary infection, meaning it's bacteria that forms on a coral when the coral is already dead or dying or unhappy or damaged from something else. So brown jelly is brown jelly, but I don't think it should be called brown jelly disease, because when you have a torch that has brown jelly, torches around it will actually attack the brown jelly, so they don't get that bacteria on them. But you can have a torch that's brown jelly next to a very healthy torch, as long as you have decent flow. So I don't think it will kill your entire system unless there's something wrong with the system in the first place.
Okay. So you don't think that one torch can contaminate the other?
I don't think one brown jelly torch can contaminate another unless there's not enough flow where now the torch next to us is eating the brown jelly.
Okay.
Right? It's like if it's in the water column and they kind of like take it in, I think that can infect it. Now, in the same colony, the brown jelly on one head definitely can infect the other heads.
The other heads.
Because if you ever cut a torch,
But the
down,
skeleton.
The skeleton, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's channels inside the skeleton where now you have bacteria inside the skeleton.
Yeah.
And that could definitely kill a coral.
Yeah. Então, pessoal, brown jelly, para ele, não deveria ser chamado doença, que é disease, né? Doença do brown jelly. Para ele, é um problema de infecção do coral causado por bactéria, por um tipo de bactéria. Tá? Nós já vamos entrar nas bactérias aí. E é muito comum, tá? Ele ter um aquário com uma colônia com brown jelly e não ter brown jelly em outras colônias. Tá? Que ele não acha que se transmite de uma para outra, principalmente se tem boa circulação. Tá? Mas que é muito comum e é fato que uma boca contamina as outras por causa do esqueleto. Tá? Que se você cortar o coral, você vai ver que às vezes já está avançando para outras bocas também. Tá? Danny, do you think is it known that brown jelly happens in the coral reef? Or this is something that we detect just in reef tanks? Isso é algo que existe na natureza ou só nós aquaristas que vimos em aquários?
I don't know if it's going to happen in a real reef tank, because I think when in a real reef tank that's healthy, there's a lot of fish that will eat corals that are dying. So in a real reef tank, I don't think the bacteria or the jelly is going to form fast enough before the fish eats it. So I'm sure the same condition are there, but it's just being taken care of by predators. If you ever see corals that are dying in the coral reef, in our own system, you have fish like maybe tangs or foxface or wrasses that will pick at the dead tissue.
Já viu eles comendo? O tangue comendo brown jelly alguma vez ou não? Não. Interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of brown jelly in a real reef, but I don't read enough scientific articles to do that.
Yeah, me too. For me too. I'm a scuba diver too. I never saw a brown jelly. No. This is what I'm telling you.
Or hear about them.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly in our aquaria because we're lacking predators. We're lacking the flow to take away the bacteria.
Yeah. Eu perguntei para ele então se ele sabe de alguma coisa, viu alguma vez o brown jelly, se é algo que acontece no Recife de Coral ou é algo específico de aquários. E o que ele disse que talvez possa existir, ele nunca viu, eu também nunca vi, mas talvez os predadores naturais lá acabem com o brown jelly quando o coral começa a morrer. Então é algo que não seja tão comum assim, né? E é algo novo. Brown jelly is something new, correct?
I don't think it's new. It's been
No?
around ever since we had Euphyllia
Oh,
or
okay.
LPS. You can see brown jelly on LPS like acans and blastos as well.
Oh.
It's definitely not something new. Yeah.
Ok, good. Eu perguntei pra ele se o brown jelly era alguma coisa nova, ele disse que não. Ele disse que você já vê brown jelly até em acans e tudo, etc. Pra mim é uma coisa nova. For us, like this, for example, brown jelly em acans is something new. We never saw that. I never saw.
Wow.
Tu já viu alguma vez? No. It's something new for us. But it's good to know that we need to be prepared. We're gonna follow in that. Is there any evidence of brown jelly associated with any type of bacteria? I've heard that Vibrio nassae bacteria is something related with brown jelly. Eu perguntei para ele se existe alguma associação de alguma espécie de bactéria com o brown jelly, especificamente uma bactéria que se chama Vibrio nassae.
I think brown jelly is associated with a lot of different type of bacteria, including like there's some flagella that's found on brown jelly. But it's the case where is it the bacteria causing brown jelly or it's just found on brown jelly, right? An example would be if you see a deer in the forest that's dead and it's filled with maggots because, did the maggots kill the deer or did the deer die? And then now the maggots is infecting the deer and, eating the deer. So I think that's the case with brown jelly, and the bacteria and the flagella that's found on it. No one's really know if it's actually causing the brown jelly or if it's just eating up the brown jelly or eating up the dead organics on the coral itself.
Uhum. Ele disse que realmente é uma bactéria, mas que não pode afirmar, não tem evidências para dizer que brown jelly é causada por um tipo de bactéria. Mas ele diz que isso é um fato, todo mundo sabe que isso aí é alguma coisa que está comendo o coral, né? E tudo aquilo ali está sendo causado por uma bactéria, tá? Mas é algo que precisa de muito estudo ainda, tá? Ok. Vamos falar sobre temperatura para ele. Is it true the statement of torches in cooler tanks, for example, 75, 77 or 24, 25 degrees Celsius, less bacteria, less parasites, more color, instead of 78, 80 and 26, 27 Celsius, more growth, more parasites. What's the temperature you use in your reef tank? Então, pessoal, eu perguntei aqui para ele se é verdade, né, a afirmação que águas mais frias, 24, 25 graus, menos bactéria, menos parasitas, mais cores. Água mais quente, 26, 27 graus ou mais alto, mais crescimento, mais parasitas. Qual é a temperatura que ele usa no aquário dele?
So in our tank, we run about 74 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know the equivalent for Celsius.
74? Wow.
74 to 76.
That's cold, man. That's cold.
It's not too bad.
Let me see here. Let me convert here. 74. 23 degrees Celsius, man. Wow.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad.
So 74 to 76, mostly they hover around 76. In the summertime, it gets a little warmer in San Diego, so our tank might go up to 78 to 79 degrees. Why we keep at 76 is just we feel like the bacteria might not be growing as fast as 76. Everything seems to be happy, and from what I've known from before, like colder temperature won't kill coral, but you get 81, 82 degrees, that would kill your tank.
Wow.
For some tank, but we've always kept ours on the low side because it works, and usually when something works for us, we don't really mess around and change it too much.
So it's true. You have more parasites, or you have more problem with the corals with 78, 80 Fahrenheit.
I think once we get to 80, we start seeing like some issues with coral. More issues, I think, than lower temperature.
Wow. Let me translate that. O que ele disse é que ele mantém o coral dele em 23.3, tá? A conversão de 74 Fahrenheit é exatamente 23.3, tá? E que quando chega em 80 Fahrenheit é onde começa a morrer os corais, que é 26 graus. Now, wow! That's, you hit it hard, people. And it's not bad. We always say, so in our last trip to Indonesia, where we dive and where we saw LPS like torches, temperature was 25, like 74.
Yeah. Right.
Is what you're saying. And in our office here, we have an LPS dedicated tank, and that room we don't have before air conditioning. We usually have 76 here in all the rooms, with the exception of that. Most of our torch suffered when we had 87. 87. We reached 87 there a few months ago, and we lost a lot of corals there.
Yeah.
Even a scolimia is still with the mouth open, is recovering now, because now we have air conditioning there. So this is completely aligned with what you are saying. Just let me translate that. Pessoal, eu falei que na Indonésia, a maioria dos LPS que a gente vê o torch, estavam em 25 graus. Ele tá falando que toca os aquários dele com 23. Cara, pra gente ter o que ele tá dizendo é que bactérias vão ser formadas a partir de 26 graus, você vai perder coral, principalmente LPS, acima de 26 graus. E eu comentei com ele aqui que o nosso aquário de LPS, nessa última onda de calor, chegou a 31 graus. Ele se espantou com a temperatura, claro. Ele falou, como é que conseguiu chegar a isso aí? Aí eu expliquei, porque é do ar-condicionado, etc. E agora nós temos ar-condicionado lá. So now we are keeping this room with 75, and everybody's happy. Coral are exploding.
Right. Now, when you go scuba diving, so I scuba dive too, and when you see about the coral reef bleaching or dying, most of those are near the surface, right? 1 feet to 3 feet of water, maybe 10 feet of water. That's 3 meters. But when you go scuba diving, when you pass the first 3 meters, like 10 feet, there's a thermocline, and the water just gets cooler. Then you get to 30 feet, it gets way cooler. So maybe 80, 90 degrees near the surface, and about 30 feet down, it's nice and cool. So where are all the corals, where are all the reef bleaching? It's the shallow reef that are bleaching, you know? So temperature has a lot to do with that. And the coral reef that are deeper down, like the deep water acro, the deep water torches, they're perfectly fine, cooler temperature. So I think cooler temperatures, in our opinion, a little safer than having it running at 79, 80, 81. You might get more growth because of a higher metabolism, I guess. But for us, keeping the coral healthy and alive is better than growth.
Yeah. O que ele disse é o seguinte, você vai mergulhar, você está a 1 metro de profundidade, você vê um monte de coral tendo branqueamento, né? Ou morrendo, tá? Aí você vai descendo, você desce 4, 5, 6 metros, tá? Os bichos já estão mais felizes, estão mais saudáveis. Você desce para 10 metros, 15, 20, os bichos estão muito saudáveis, muito colorido, entendeu? Então, geralmente, no nosso aquário, a gente não vai conseguir reproduzir isso aí. Então, cara, tenta manter LPS numa temperatura mais branda. 24 graus, eu diria aqui que seria... O problema é que nós estamos no Brasil, né, galera? O problema é que a gente precisa de um cooler para trabalhar nessa temperatura. Mas ele também comentou que lá no verão ele sofre, ele sobe a temperatura lá para ele também, tá? Então, no inverno a gente tenta manter aí 23 graus e no verão no máximo 25,5, eu diria. É o que você conseguir. Mas se você tá onde o teu aquário passa de 27 graus, você vai sofrer com torte. Vai sofrer com LPS. Yeah, I'm just explaining. Brazil is a very big country. And we have in the north region of Brazil, we have, it's easy to have 93 Fahrenheit. 93. Yeah. You know, and people have reef tanks in this condition just with a small fan. You know?
Right.
So that's difficult. Okay.
The fan is a great way to cool your water. I mean, we use fans, evaporation, like will cut your tank down by 10 degrees. Just a lot of replenishing of fresh RODI water.
Yeah.
But fans work great. Yeah.
Ele diz que tem que colocar ventilador grande. Ele consegue baixar até 10 graus lá, mas são coisas, são ventiladores. They are big fans, correct? Big.
Yeah.
São grandes, é isso, tá? Beleza. What do you think about UV to kill brown jelly? O que você acha de UV para ajudar a matar brown jelly?
I don't think UV is going to help when your tank has brown jelly. Mm-hmm. If you think about how a UV filter work, anything that goes to UV, if the flow is slow enough, it'll kill everything that's biological. Now the problem is brown jelly is not in the water column. It's not floating around and going through your UV. So how do you kill something that's not even going to your UV? You can't. Brown jelly will stick to the coral and stays on the coral till it's completely dead, and then it kind of like become like a mesh and get blown out with the flow. Mm-hmm. So having a UV in the system, I don't think will kill brown jelly. There's absolutely no way. It's not going to the UV at all.
Wow. Ele acha que o UV... so you think UV will be more beneficial for the water clarity? Yeah?
I think UV will be good for pests and water quality. But if you think about... Yeah, pests and water quality. But if you think about how much water go to the UV per hour, and then your tank volume, are you able to filter out every water that goes to the volume before it gets to UV? And are you able to get everything through the UV? You just can't. The UV will do stuff on the water column, but the bacteria that is not on the water column, like on the glass, the rock, that would never go to the UV.
Yeah, excellent. O que ele está dizendo é o seguinte, que o brown jelly não é algo que está na coluna d'água. Ele está ali dentro do coral. Ele não vai viajar a coluna d'água. E o UV, ele vai atacar parasitas e claridade da água, tá? Mas não é algo que vai fazer diferença. Ele nunca viu e não tem dados para afirmar e também acha que não vai resolver brown jelly você ter um UV superdimensionado. Todo esse volume de água não vai fazer diferença. Se você não tratar o brown jelly que está lá no coral, não vai fazer diferença, tá? Segundo a opinião dele. Do you think that's a controversial question. Be prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Você acha que o uso de antibióticos pode levar a bactérias a se tornarem mais tolerantes ou mais multiresistentes a antibióticos? Você usa antibióticos no seu aquário? Essa é a pergunta para ele. Do you think the use of antibiotics can lead to bacteria and parasites becoming more tolerant or multi-resistant to antibiotics? Do you use antibiotics in your reef tank?
The answer to the first question is yes. Anytime you use antibiotics, you might be creating antibacterial resistant to that antibiotics, right? If you use CPRO constantly in a reef, there's going to be some bacteria that's not going to die. It's going to form resistance to that particular antibiotics. And that's true for any use of antibiotics, where we use dogs, humans, reef tanks, fish. I mean, that's just the science behind it. As far as do we use antibiotics in our own big tanks, we do not. when we use antibiotics in new coral shipment. Things that come in, it goes into a separate QT tank that gets treated for antibiotics at a very high level. So the idea is to kill a lot of bacteria as much as possible, and then put back good bacteria.
Actually, this is a big dip tank, probably. It's like a big dip tank. So you cannot say that you don't you use antibiotics in your reef tank. You use it in your tank that you receive the import, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So I don't like the standard use of antibiotics for no reason. It just doesn't make any sense. For us, we use antibiotics at the beginning because we want to make sure we're not introducing these bacteria into our main reef system. And once that's clean, we put it into our main system, and that main system don't have antibiotics.
Nice.
When do you use antibiotics in your main reef? It's when you accidentally introduce something and then things are dying daily. You have one head of torch dying, another head dying, a hammer dying. Your system needs to be reset. You need to kill as much bacteria as possible, the good and the bad. Basically, reset your biome, and then put back good bacteria that will outcompete the bad bacteria.
Pessoal, ele tem completo acordo que antibióticos podem afetar sim intolerância bacterial. Isso é algo no mundo extremamente combatido, tá? Que ele não recomenda dosagem de antibióticos em aquário, tá? Se você faz, ou seja, uso frequente de cipro, por exemplo, em seu aquário, ele está dizendo para não fazer isso aí. E que ele usa sim na importação quando chega em um aquário separado. É uma bateria separada. Eu falei, é como se fosse um DIP gigante, então, que aí sim ele faz o uso de antibióticos ali, porque ele quer que não chegue nada de bactéria ruim pro sistema principal dele. Basicamente é isso. E ele não quer criar competição de bactérias que estão chegando, que podem ser nocivas para os tanques principais da KFC, da Kung Fu Corals. Nice. This is very important. I believe we have many importers here too in the podcast. They will definitely think about it to treat LPS before to put in their main reef tank. Or on the display, room, showroom.
Right.
Okay. So now let's explain to people what is KFC dip. How was developed? O que é o DIP KFC e como que foi criado, tá?
The KFC dip was just developed out of desperation, right? So we import coral, and honestly, initially when we imported coral, the industry standard was like, you get wild corals in, expect 10 to 20% death rate, because the excuse was, they're wild, they're not conditioned to tank life.
5 to 10% loss, correct?
5 to 10 depends on who you talk to. Some people say 20 to 50% loss. It's all over the place, depending on who you talk to, the experience they had. Personally, we were experiencing about 10 to 20% loss when they first come in, bad, right? Shipping delays, temperature, water condition. But over time, they start dying some more, and then dying some more. And so after a while, we just couldn't sell anything because we didn't want to sell bad corals, or we didn't want to sell corals that were, we couldn't keep. If you couldn't keep corals alive, why sell them? Because it's gonna die on people. We didn't think that was something.
Why you are collecting then? No, why we are collecting then?
Yeah, exactly. So it came out of desperation. I did a lot of reading, a lot of asking forums, researching. So we try everything. We try all these chemical people try.
Just let me translate to this point. Tudo começou com, cara, com desespero, basicamente, porque existe um standard aí nos importadores que é tolerável uma perda de 5 a 10% desse tipo de coral, tá? Mas que ele já chegou a ter, logo no início, quando ele começou a importar, até 20, 30% de perda. E aí chegou a época que ele perdia tudo. Perdia tudo. E aí ele começou a ficar desesperado, ele falou, não, eu preciso trabalhar em alguma coisa, fazer uma pesquisa e etc, porque por que nós estamos, então, tirando o coral da natureza se eles estão morrendo, então? Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Yeah. So basically, we tried everything. Everyone recommended, and nothing really worked. Some work sometimes, some work other time, but no one had proof that I did this and it works. And then, so for us, we figure let's just try everything all at once, mix them all together, and let's see what happens.
Nice.
It took a few iterations. We overdid it the first time. The cause was worse, and then we backed up. We kept trying different antibiotics, trying different ways, doing more research on it. We finally came up with the KFC dip, which has basically the enough to kind of kill the bacteria and make everything recover. And since then, we've been trying to improve it little by little. Don't want to tweak it too much because it's working really, really well. But basically, it came out of desperation, trying whatever people would tell us to try. And then, I figure it was kind of like chemotherapy in human, right? Cancer is very, very bad. And the reason we don't do chemo too much is chemo will kill the host, kill the person itself. And so the KFC dip pushes that limit. How far can we push this, kill the bacteria and not kill the core?
Uau, nice. E, bom, e aí ele começou a testar tudo que existia de solução. Testou tudo. E aí, alguns funcionavam, outros não funcionavam, funcionava mais ou menos, não funcionava e tal. Ele, cara, por que a gente não põe tudo isso aí junto e vamos ver o que dá? Foi tentativa e erro. Yeah. E aí começou a funcionar. Aí ele falou, não, vamos testar, vamos mudar isso aqui, etc. E principalmente feedback de aquaristas. Testei isso aqui, melhorou e tal. And you improve the process with success cases, probably. Many people help you to try this, or just by yourself?
I try a bunch of iteration with a few different people. We try a couple of different antibiotics, but mostly it's just me at the shop at night, figuring things out, trying things, trying to read up as much as we can, take ideas from people that say, try this, try that. We tried everything. And, it's just like, I think in this hobby, we learn from a lot of different people. So the idea comes from so many different people, I think I lost your audio here.
Avisa aí o pessoal no chat, diz que nós estamos ajustando aí, o William. Deixa eu mandar uma mensagem aqui pra ele, peraí. Voltou? Yeah? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, this is connections. We don't know. Oh, we have a blank screen here. Oh, now we come back. Yeah. We are back. Estamos de volta, pessoal. Desculpe, technical issues. This happens. This is internet.
Right.
Okay. Okay, Danny. So my question to you is, so people usually ask me if they can treat these problems inside the reef tank or outside. And it's obvious question. Answer is outside the tank. Execute the protocol outside the tank, correct? This is a simple question.
Well, we have two different way of doing the KFC method, right? So one is the KFC dip, which is outside the tank. And I always recommend that before you do anything in the tank. You want to kind of see if a coral is doing bad, don't treat the whole tank. Just treat that one coral outside the tank, see what happens. If it shows improvement and you put it back in the tank and it's working, then maybe, and then other corals are dying, then maybe you have to do the in-tank treatment, which is a separate protocol. That one I've not made public. You can get that contacting me via Instagram. And the reason that's not made public is I don't want people to misinterpret that information, do it wrong, kill their tank, and then blame me. So when we're doing the in-tank treatment,
never happens. That never happens. No, never happens.
Right. So I guide people through that. I spend a lot of time learning about people's system, and oftentimes I'll recommend to them, don't do the in-tank treatment. It sounds like you have a maintenance issue. Do your water change, maintain your reef better, and let it bounce back naturally. Don't dump antibiotics because you feel like it's going to fix your system. I think fix the habit first, and then antibiotics is a last resort to save your coral.
Yeah. Bom, primeiro ele diz assim, ó, não tente tratar o teu aquário, arrumar o teu aquário de problemas básicos com um DIP, né? Porque ele desenvolveu os dois. Ele desenvolveu o DIP KFC para tratar fora e dentro do aquário. Só que não é público. E não publicou essa informação. Primeiro, tente fora. Se você não está tendo sucesso no teu aquário e está voltando brown jelly, ele está aberto. Pode procurar ele, que ele vai fornecer o protocolo. Mas por que ele não tornou isso público? Porque, cara, é certeza. Se você tornar isso público, o cara pode mal interpretar os passos que estão ali e matar o aquário inteiro e vai culpar ele. Aí eu brinquei com ele que isso nunca acontece, né? Okay, I'm just repeating the joke that I made with you, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so very nice, Danny, and I totally agree. Don't put that public because people are gonna create a lot of confusion and they're gonna blame you. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so Danny, I will show here, and let me tell you here, we have a regional problem. Most people, I believe 96% of who executes the use of your dip is not doing correctly. Actually, they are not doing the whole KFC dip. Because of one reason. It's too expensive in Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
To buy all the products, it's too expensive. Okay? So
Right.
they are just using Cipro. Okay, let me explain that and keep the thinking with you, and then we're gonna reflect on that. Nós temos um problema crítico aqui no Brasil. 99% das pessoas que pegam o DIP KFC não estão fazendo ele completo. Por uma simples razão, é caro. Nós fizemos o cálculo aqui, tá? Pegamos todos os componentes do Cipro, tá? Que aí vai água oxigenada, o que mais? 500 mg de amoxicilina, 500 mg de Cipro, 10 medidas de Chemiclean, 40 gotas de Lugol, né, da Brightwell, e 4 tampas de Brightwell Restore. Se a gente somar tudo isso aqui, deu quanto, William? 860 aí? Fala aí.
E 6,50.
846,50 reais. E isso equivale a quantos dólares? Eu falei 169 dólares e 30 centavos. Just to give an example, if we buy all the products for the dip
Yeah.
will cost you an equivalent in dollar $163 $30. And
How
you
much,
sell by no $163 US dollars is the equivalent
right.
buying all here for you. Your dip costs
Right.
$40 in your website, correct?
The antibiotics cost $40.
Yeah.
Everything else costs like $150.
No. So okay, no, it's equivalent. It's equivalent. But for
Yeah.
Brazil, expensive, for people. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
But my suggestion to you, so you have any problem if you try to find similar products that can be used, like for example, Lugol, Brightwell Lugol. Shall we use only Brightwell Lugol, or can we use a drugstore Lugol that we have there?
I have not tested it.
Okay.
I think I lost your video. I have not tested it, so I cannot say you can or cannot use it. From what I know with Lugo solution, it's Lugo solution.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It should work. So Kent Marine Lugo, pharmacy store Lugo, drugstore Lugo, I think it's just Lugo. But you can actually probably eliminate Lugo, and you can eliminate some other stuff just to streamline it. The reason I haven't done that is the dip has worked so well up to this point. I'm at the point where why change it if it's working so well? Do I want to risk a $800 Holy Grail torch because I want to skip out on a $10 product?
Yeah, you're right. I completely agree with you. Yeah. Let me explain that. Ele tá dizendo o seguinte, ó. Tudo depende do que você tem no teu aquário. R$800 ficou caro para você? Você tá com um torte de R$2.000? É a tua decisão. Se você vai investir R$850 para ter todo o protocolo KFC e executar tudo, tá? Que dá para executar mais de uma vez, exatamente, o Huynh falou isso aí, tá? Eu vou tentar que depois eu vou conversar com ele para a gente criar um protocolo paralelo e ver se funciona com outros produtos que a gente tenha similar aqui no mercado. Mas pensa, velho, quanto você tem de torte no teu aquário? Cara, tem gente que tem R$150 mil. We have people here that have 100,000 K of torches in their reef tanks.
Right.
And people complain about the price, you know.
You know what? It's a hobby, and unfortunately, we are dealing with a living creature. Like people don't see coral as living, but if it's something that I care about and love and want to keep alive, and we took it from the ocean, I'm gonna do whatever I can to save it. You know, so if it requires $150 medication, it takes $150 medication. If you own a dog, we own a dog and he had issues, it costs $8,000 to do surgery on a dog. I could get a new dog for $500, but we spent $8,000 because we love the animal, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a personal car. If you feel it's too expensive, let the coral die. If you, I've spent more money saving a coral that was $10 because I love the coral. So it's a personal car. Unfortunately, you can't make people buy things to save their animals.
Você não pode fazer as pessoas, você não vai conseguir fazer as pessoas gastarem dinheiro para manter os animais vivos. Tem cachorro que custa $500, para você fazer uma cirurgia nele custa $8.000. Então, se você prefere fazer isso, aí compra um outro cachorro de $500, deixa ele morrer. Foi exatamente o que ele falou. É duro, hein, gente, escutar isso, tá? Mas ele não deixa isso acontecer porque ele ama o coral. Ele tirou ele da natureza. Olha que reflexão isso, galera. Entendeu? Então eu entendo vocês, tá? Eu entendo que você não quer gastar, você não, às vezes não pode gastar. Às vezes você investiu aquele dinheiro para comprar aquela cabeça de torte, aquele Holy Grail, né? Ou ASD, e R$800 vai ser caro para você. Só que você tem que pensar disso aí. So I'm just doing the same reflection as you did, you know? And sometimes people buy a torch ASD, you know, that costs 3 times the cost of the dip, but they have to think about it on that, you know?
Right.
It's a simple reflection, you know? Good.
It's definitely a personal choice, yeah.
Yeah. Danny, just let pass here through the KFC DIP. I will not get into details because people know, about the KFC. Coloca ali para mim. Power aqui tá carregando meu computador aqui. And so people will just pass over of their KFC DIP. Pode jogar a tela, Bin Laden, aqui, junto com ele aqui. Põe cantinho aí. Luquinha, põe aí para nós. So we are going to share here the KFC DIP. You will probably not see. Tu pode jogar para ele ou não? Yeah, you will see, probably, in your screen. Okay?
Okay.
So we have here a pre-wash. That's a peroxide of hydrogen, só conhecido como água oxigenada, tá? 3%, 3% is 3 to 4 ml for 3.7 liters, that is 1 gallon, for 5 to 10 minutes, correct? And that is just to clean the coral. Just explain that stage of the KFC.
Okay, so hydrogen peroxide is a oxidizing agent, and it's supposed to take out anything that's dead or dying. So I feel like if you're gonna put corals into the KFC dip, you don't want to put that bad stuff in there, like the brown jelly. So the pre-dip is supposed to be for rinsing out the wounds, the dead organics, and get as much of that out as possible. So in the pre-dip, you turkey baster, make sure the brown jelly is gone, the sludge is gone, then you put in dip. So the idea of that is you're letting this coral sit in more clean water with clean medication versus sitting in water that has brown jelly. So that's the idea of the pre-dip.
A ideia é tirar todo esse orgânico, o próprio brown jelly, aquela gosma, tudo, né? É um agente oxidante que vai tirar isso aí antes de fazer o dip, tá? Ele prefere tirar isso aí antes de mexer. E esse mesmo protocolo aqui, ele tem para depois também, tá? Bom, so after that you have a wash of 2 to 6 hours with 15 liters of water, a heater in 22 degrees. Now I know you use 22 degrees. No, 74. It's a sponge filter, correct? 500 milligrams of amoxicillin, 500 milligrams of ciprofloxacino, 10 spoons of chemiclean, 40 drops of Lugol, or maybe we have to try here in Brazil, iodeto de potássio, that's potassium iodate. I will try that here by myself, and I'm gonna share to you if that works, okay? If you allow me, I will try to do that here. And 4 caps of Brightwell Restore. Maybe I will try with other dips too. Let's see if that works, okay? And I'm gonna share to you. Just because, calm down people, we have other alternatives, okay? But give the credits to Danny, not me. Danny is the guy, okay? Aqui o filtro de esponja é um Huynh, pessoal, tá? Então é você colocar 15 litros de água com tudo isso aqui dentro e colocar de 2 a 6 horas. So now, Danny, explain when use 2 or 6 hours. When?
I think anecdotally, I think when a torch is really, really bad, I think having it longer in the dip might stress out more. So for really, really bad torches that are active brown jelly, I would say 2 hours, but do it more often. I've done torches twice a day before, like once in the morning and once in the evening. And the idea is to keep the bacteria off of the torch, right? Corals don't, as we know, corals don't really have an immune system. And so anything that you treat has to be external. So we have to keep bacteria off so that the torch can heal itself first. Bacteria grows very, very, very fast. They might replicate every 4 hours. They double in numbers. So we might have to do that more. Unfortunately, putting a dip a long time might stress out the coral too much.
Ele disse
For
que
corals that are doing...
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
For corals that are not so bad, maybe the extension is not so good or the tissue is not so good, I will leave it there overnight because you're soaking in antibiotics and it has amino acid that's going to feed the coral. So they're just in a soup of like, food basically. The next day they're puffier, they're better, and they're not going to be so stressed out because they're a little bit more healthy in the first place.
Excellent. Ele diz que se o coral tá mal, não coloca mais que 2 horas. Não coloca mais que 2 horas. O coral vai sofrer, muito tempo não é bom, tá? Se o coral tá muito próximo de bom, entendeu? Se vocês estão fazendo isso mais para prevenir alguma coisa, pode colocar pela noite, deixa a noite inteira. Tá? E já joga a comida lá dentro. No outro dia o coral vai estar estufado, vai estar bem, etc. Mas se ele estiver ruim, não põe comida também. Tá? Então basicamente é isso. And we have a few questions here too in Instagram. Let me get one of these questions here, Danny, that are interesting questions. Let me get here. Here. Just a second. Here. Question. Someone that executed the KFC dip said that the torch lose coloration in the process. Is that true? And what stage here they're gonna lose coloration?
Well, first I would have to ask, did they do the full KFC dip, or did they? I mean, I would have to see what it looks like before and after, and the process they chose to do. It's difficult. As far as the torch losing colors, I've never heard of that losing color in a KFC dip, because the dip is only 2 hours. There's no way for a torch to expel zooxanthellae unless it's done wrong. Maybe peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, too much hydrogen peroxide.
Too much concentration of
hydrogen peroxide. I think that would be the only stage I would see, maybe in too long, or maybe instead of 3% hydrogen peroxide, they're using 12%. But the middle KFC dip itself doesn't have anything to make the torch lose color.
Ele disse que ele nunca viu o coral perder zooxanthella, tá? No KFC dip. Talvez pelo processo da água oxigenada, do peróxido de hidrogênio, pode ser. Eu tô com a minha... agora voltou a minha bateria. Talvez pode ser exatamente por isso, tá? Do processo de lavagem com água oxigenada, usar uma água oxigenada mais fraca, tá? 3% aqui no Brasil pode ser diferente do 3% lá, então, tá? Ou menos tempo também na água oxigenada. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think it's for the peroxide hydrogen too in this situation here.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say, can I add? I would say, I think with things in the reefing hobby, it's very important to take to document what we do as hobbyists, because we have a lot more experience with corals than Science Foundation that have lack of funding that can do the same process. So it's important that we take videos and pictures of what the corals look like before the dip and after the dip, or before a procedure. That way there's a way to prove and replicate, right? So if someone says, I did this and the coral lose color, well, if they share with me that process and the before and after picture, I have all colors of torches and all type. I could do the exact same thing. And if we can replicate that and see the same result, then hey, there's a problem. Let's go ahead and fix it. But if they say, if it's only words and there's no video proof of anything and no procedure documented, it's very hard to tell.
Man, I think you are a great man, because you are not imposing something here, like, signed by blood, that you have to use this. Yeah. You are completely open for feedback. That's you are really good man with that. So let me explain that. Ele tá dizendo, se você usou o teu protocolo, deu algum problema, cara, documenta, coloca o antes e depois, marca ele, porque ele vai tentar replicar lá também. E ele vai tentar melhorar. Mas se vocês não marcarem ele, não fizerem um antes e depois, ele não consegue melhorar o processo. Então eu falei para ele que ele é uma grande pessoa, porque ele não criou um protocolo e disse, não, esse protocolo é meu e ninguém muda. Não, o que ele quer é feedback. de vocês, tá? Então é isso. Documente, marque o Dani no KFC e compartilhe, ó, fiz isso aqui. E aí ele vai tentar ajudar a gente. I love it, man. Okay, another question here. Is very often people those bacteria in reef tanks here. Do you think this can be harmful for torches? É frequente aqui no Brasil o pessoal dosar bactérias nos aquários. Perguntei para ele se isso aqui tem algum problema, algum benefício, algum problema para torches.
I think it's beneficial for not only torches, but the entire reef tank. When you're buying bacteria that is in a bottle, we trust the supplier and the manufacturer that they are giving us good bacteria, right? At least I trust them that they're giving good bacteria and the bacteria is not bad bacteria. So having way better good bacteria in the system, like probiotic bacteria, or like Mycobacter clean, Mycobacter 7, Dr. Tim, any bacteria you have that is good for the reef system, I think it's gonna outcompete the bad bacteria. And I think overall that's gonna be a much healthier system. So having a big variety and more of it, so dosing bacteria in the system, I think it's a big plus. I think in the long term, that would be the approach you wanna do once you fix your tank with antibiotics, if you have bad bacteria right now.
Ele é um fã de dosagem de bactérias, ele falou aqui, ele disse que confia nos fabricantes de bactéria, que dosar bactéria, elas podem competir com as bactérias ruins, tá? E uma vez que você tratou com antibiótico, tudo que tem nos corais fora do aquário e dosou bactéria, é algo que é extremamente benéfico. Achei legal a resposta dele, tá? Então isso é uma pergunta aqui de um seguidor. Que mais aqui? Conseguimos usar o protocolo KFC em Acróporas e SPS em geral? Can we use the KFC DIP for Acros and SPS in general?
We use the KFC in-tank treatment for every single core that comes in imported, whether it's SPS, LPS, mushrooms, like acans, everything gets treated for bacteria. We do not want any bacteria that comes in from the wild, killing as much as possible, and then going in the system. So yes, you can use it for SPS. Now you're doing the dip for SPS because SPS is odd tanning. It's very difficult to tell why the SPS is odd tanning. It could be dying because of something else. It might not be bacteria related.
Yeah.
So the KFC dip, it's not a miracle save. It will save your core from bacterial infections, where the base might be turning brown on the SPS, and then the brown or gray, and then no polyp extension. You dip that, it will and cut whatever you can out, and then dip those healthy frags. It will save it. In fact, I helped somebody in, I want to say Switzerland, and he did an in-tank treatment, and he just gave me feedback last week that everything is coming back healthy and growing again. I'm going to try to do more interview with people and let them talk about their experience. I'm not going to say anything. They're going to talk about their treatment and how the in-tank treatment saved their tank or how the in-tank treatment didn't work. Let them do the feedback. And so I'll be there just to answer questions. But yes, it does work on SPS tanks as well.
Eles fazem tratamento com o DIP KFC para todos os corais que eles importam. Mush, Acan, LPS, Acropora, SPS em geral, tudo. Existem problemas de acróporas que não são relacionados com bactérias, são outras coisas, tá? E aí, obviamente que não dá para dizer que é o DIP que vai melhorar ou vai piorar isso aí, mas eles fazem tratamento de todos os corais que eles importam. Eles não querem que essas bactérias entrem para o sistema dele. E é por isso que eles fazem. Excellent. Love that too, man. Someone is asking here if one day of KFC dip 8 to 9 hours is enough to help the tissue of torches. I think this is maybe too much. You said 6 hours, correct? Or 8 to 9 hours. It's already explained.
Well, we've done 24-hour dips before.
24 hours. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a tank. We have a 1 gallon tank, and we're not at the shop every single day. So I would put a torch in, a pre-wash, make sure it's clean, put it in a 1 gallon tank, put the medication in, come back 2 days later. It's
Ele disse
fine.
que fez tratamento 2 dias. 2 dias. 2 dias. Direto. Tá? Então, não é esse tempo aí. O que ele disse antes é que se o coral tá morrendo, faz 2 horas. E faz com mais frequência. Ele disse que chegou a fazer, falou antes, ele chegou a fazer 2 vezes ao dia. O negócio é fazer a bactéria não voltar. Quando tá crítico o coral. Por causa de brown jelly, né? Ou por causa de algum outro problema de bactéria. Excellent. Lucão, joga aí na tela, então. Perguntas. So, now we're gonna have here in the screen. Ele vai ver a pergunta também ou não? Não, né? Não tem problema, ok. Yeah. They're gonna pop up in my screen here, questions. When you watch later, you're gonna see all these questions here. But I translate to you.
Ok.
Jeff, tudo bem? Pergunta se devemos realizar alguma quarentena para crustáceos, camarões, estrelas, ouriços, nude-brancos, lesma do mar, caranguejos, vieiras, tridacna, todo tipo de invertebrado. Danny, they are asking if we have to do quarantine for shrimps, stars, what else? Tridacnas, these kind of things, all types of invertebrates. What do you think?
I would say try it and let me know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like so I have a lot of experience with the corals, but there's a lot of hobbyists out there that will keep stuff that I normally don't keep, like sponges or different type of corals. So I would say if you're willing to experiment and kind of like give us feedback, then we can all learn from it. With that said, starfish, feather duster, and shrimps do okay with the antibiotics in the system. The only thing that I've seen that has issues would be anemones are okay too. The only thing is sponges. They're filter feeder, and I think somehow the antibiotics getting into these filter feeder type sponges, they don't like it. Like pineapple sponges will detach. They're still alive, but
yeah. Do you do also the KFC dip to anemones?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Ele faz o dip KFC até com anêmona. A única coisa que ele viu até hoje que pode dar problema são esponjas. Nos Estados Unidos eles podem importar esse tipo de coisa lá, tá? Então é por isso que ele tá falando. Yeah, go ahead, man. Tell more.
In fact, one of the ingredients, sebofluxion, is included because it came from people treating anemones. Like when you get a wild anemones and don't open, they soak it in a tank with Cipro, and 2 days later it's ginormous because the bacteria that's on the tentacle is gone. So sebofluxion actually comes from the treatment of NEM that we've been doing for decades.
So that will not gonna be the problem for anemones. Definitely not.
No, absolutely not.
Pessoal, canal Riftec trazendo aqui para você então em primeira mão o DIP KFC. Na realidade, o ciprofloxacino surgiu de tratamentos que se usavam de ciprofloxacino com anêmonas. E ele disse que isso é algo comum nos Estados Unidos e em outras partes de outros países. A anêmona que não abre, você fazer o tratamento com ciprofloxacino e no outro dia, 2 dias depois, a anêmona está completamente inflada. Acho que a gente abre aqui mais uma possibilidade para muita gente que tem problema com anêmona, né, Will? Não é? We have many, even importers, even Keelsley. Keelsley have problem with anemones that don't open. Okay.
Try it out. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And we have here.
Try it out.
Yeah. And we have here in watching us our vet, our medical vet, Mr. Dr. Pedro Henrique, and he will definitely try this after this conversation.
Do me a favor. Anything you try, take a video before. With NEM, don't put it in hydrogen peroxide. I've never put NEMs in hydrogen peroxide.
Para anêmona não use a parte da pré-lavagem com água oxigenada. Use o DIP inteiro. Para anêmona, atenção, se você vai fazer com anêmona, não use água oxigenada, tá? Só isso aí. E documente antes e depois manda para ele. Nice, man. Love it.
So take a video before,
vídeo
after the dip, rinse it, and then take a video 24 hours after the dip. I would be
24 horas depois vídeo também.
You'll be shocked, yeah.
You'll
be shocked how well
I love it,
respond.
love it. Outra pergunta, Bin. Vai em inglês, Jeff. Your corals are awesome, stunning. Could you tell us the secrets of keeping torch Euphyllias with a healthy and pleasant skin tissues? Seus corais são simplesmente maravilhosos, são estonteantes. Pode falar pra gente qual é o segredo para manter esses torches, as Euphyllias, com todo esse esqueleto e essa... como é que é a pele? Não, como é que é o tecido? Yeah, thanks. He's saying the question in English for you.
Oh, perfect. Well, the best way to color a torch is use Photoshop. Just slide the saturate. No, I'm just kidding. So I think you just have to keep the coral healthy. To grow tissue, you just have to clean the skeleton. We use dental tools to clean the skeleton so that the tissue can actually grow down. A lot of time in the wild or male culture, they have sponges, you have clams, you have tube worms that grow in the skeleton, and that irritates the skin. And so instead of growing down towards the skeleton, they'll start receding up towards the head. So when we get stuff in, we take a toothbrush, dental tools, and we clean it. We keep them in low light, so 100 to 120 par maybe, and medium flow. And then we keep the nutrient level higher. So low light, medium flow, clean the skeleton, keep the nutrient up.
Wow.
And once they grow a lot, go ahead.
Segredo aqui: luz baixa, circulação média, altos nutrientes. Principal pro segredo dele aqui. So, high nutrients, low light, medium flow. Correct?
Right.
I love the pulse for pumps. I feel that torches have a good response on pulse, not a continuous flow. I don't know. Maybe you can give it the idea.
We only use pulse.
Wow.
We only use pulse on every single tank, SPS, whatever. Now the thing about torches, the skeleton is extremely sharp. So if you have direct flow and continuous on one way, it'll irritate it and you'll actually cut it from the inside out. So it has to go like slowly, gentle.
Ele usa pulso em todas as baterias dele, em todos os aquários. Porque a circulação contínua vai fazer com que o esqueleto fique exposto, o tecido fique exposto e vai dando aquela machucadinha no coral. Então esse pulso é extremamente saudável para torches e Euphyllias em geral e Fimbraphyllias. Nice. What else more?
Well, to get colors out of a torch, I think a safe par level would be about 250 par. But the trick is to have a lot of white light at peak. I would say 3 to 4 hours of white light. And then once the blue kicks in, it'll be beautiful. So white light gives the yellow color in Holy Grail torches.
A luz branca que dá o amarelo em Holy Grail. 3 horas de luz branca. Depois, quando entrar o azul, os teus corais vão ser magníficos coloridos. Wow. That's shocking, man. Love it.
Yeah.
You are giving them all the secrets, man.
It's okay. If everyone does it well, we're gonna have a great hobby, I think. So
exactly. If we have more people happy with corals, we'll have a bigger community. We have less people abandoning their hobby. You know, that's my thinking.
Exactly.
You know, our competition is not different brands. Our competition is people leaving the hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, one thing I like to say about the when you ask for advice and stuff from people or take advice from people is like always have proof. They should be showing you proof. Like if you're taking advice from people or doing a dip of some sort because it works better, have them show you proof that they've done it and it works. I've lost so much call just listening to people because they say they've been in the hobby for 20 years. They've been in the hobby since they were 5 years old, and it's always worked for them. And no proof at all, right? So that's why when people do the KFC dip or a version of the KFC dip, I always say take before and after pictures because sometimes I don't even believe. Sometimes people send me before and after. I always tell them that cannot be the same call. There's no way that that is the same call. And they say it is, but I mean, when you see the video, you can't deny it. You know, the timestamp is there, the video is there, and it's just amazing some of the stuff that people have saved doing modified KFC dip or KFC dip or using other method. But the idea is they have proof, right? Video before, they know what they did after. And so we can replicate and learn from it. And that's kind of like the biggest thing for me is like, can I replicate it and learn from it and help my own core, my own reef?
Yeah, let me translate that. O Danny disse para qualquer pessoa que você pedir um conselho, tá? No aquarismo, pede provas para ele. Pede provas. Pede para ele, me mostra uma foto. Mostra se funciona, me dá evidências. Porque ele vê muito hoje pessoas opinando no aquarismo que não tem provas do que está se falando, né? Não tem evidências do que está se falando. E ele leva muito em consideração isso aí. E que ele aceita muito feedback. E ele muda os procedimentos dele. Ele pede e quando o cara fornece provas e evidências, cara, ele absorve isso aí. E é assim que vai crescendo. E é por isso que ele mostra muito as coisas que acontecem sem esconder nas baterias e no que acontece nos aquários dele. Vai, Lucão, manda aí. Agora não errei, não. More question here. More question. Someone is asking you about the Acropora abrotanoides. What do you have to say about abrotanoides?
What type of Acropora?
Abrotanoides. Do you know?
I don't know that
let me
species.
try to put abrotanoides here in the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which region is that from? Indo?
I think it's Indo. Yeah. Let me see here. Joga aí, ô Bin. Joga aí, ô Lucão. Bin. Ué, tu não consegue jogar agora? Não? Ah, ele tem que ver, né? Então, peraí. Deixa eu pegar aqui o meu zoom e share my screen. This one. Like this one. Have you seen in the importation? Kind of this? Yeah.
It's like a tort. It's like a smooth tort.
I don't know. It's difficult to identify. Yeah.
Yeah.
Desculpa, pessoal. Ele não sabe, eu também não conheço muito, não. Yeah. Next question.
Yeah.
Manda lá.
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah. Uma dúvida. Com o intenso cultivo em cativeiro, a diversidade de bactérias e zooxantelas é menor que na natureza. Será que a médio prazo e longo prazo poderemos a diversidade de cores de Euphyllias perderemos? Someone is saying here that in the captive, coral captive, we have a less diversity of bacteria. I don't know if that's true, but deixa lá. Não, peraí pra mim, né? Yeah. In the captive husbandry, we have a less diversity of bacteria and zooxanthelas. In medium term and long term, can we lost colors of Euphyllias and other corals?
I think I don't think you can lose color if your tank and light and food source are good. As that's like two different questions, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we have less variety of bacteria in a aquarium because we're not going to have the diversity that the ocean has. But I don't think that's a problem, because if you think about what the bacteria does, we have nutrifying bacteria, we have bacteria for other things. As long as you have one bacteria or two bacteria doing the job to stabilize the tank, you might not need 10 strain of bacteria that nutrifies, break down detritus. Like maybe one or two strain will do the same amount of job. And as far as what coral needs, it needs nutrient and light. Maybe it feeds on zooplanktons. Some might do phytoplanktons. As far as color is concerned, I think if the condition is bad, it might release zoanthely, and then you might not be able to get that back. But from what I find, you actually get more color in our tank than you do in the reef. Just from when I get corals coming in imported, they just don't have the same intense color as we do after 6 months or a year in the reef, because people say it needs time to color up. Well,
yeah,
it's coloring up from the ocean, right?
Ele acha que isso não é uma verdade. Ele acredita que se você manter luz boa, luz baixa, iluminação média, nutrientes suficientes para os corais, eles tendem a ser até mais saudáveis do que na natureza. Tá? Se livrar de bactérias ruins, né? Como o brown jelly. Ele, por exemplo, é muito comum os corais que ele recebe, tem menos cor, coloca dentro do aquário 6 meses, 1 ano. O coral é muito mais bonito, muito melhor. Muito mais visível, bonito e saudável para nós. Né? Então, é a opinião dele aqui, eu acho também interessante. Tem mais. Tem bastante. Ok. One question about Euphyllia ancora and Euphyllia baliensis, Euphyllia cristata, Euphyllia divisa. What colors of relation of quality of water and circulation, illumination you have for these corals? Calma.
I think with those type of coral like the ancora, you get a lot more of the gold color coming out at higher intensity lighting. And then in low intensity lighting, I think you get more diverse color. Like, for instance, a rainbow hammer will turn all gold in high light, maybe 350 par, but under 100, 150 par, they might get more colors. So it really depends on what you like. If you want more colors, lower light. You want more intense, brighter color, then higher light. As far as water quality, I think water quality has a lot to do with the health of the coral instead of the color of the coral.
Ok. Deixa eu só pegar o tipo de ali. Não consegue voltar, Bila? Só deixa ele colocar aqui a pergunta de novo na tela, pessoal, que o que o Danny falou é o seguinte: tudo depende do que você gosta, porque com um par mais baixo, você vai ter mais cores. E para uma espécie que ele falou ali, tá? Um par mais alto, vai ter mais luz, mais cor amarela. Tá? Então depende do que o cara gosta. Mas uma coisa que a gente pode... com a ancora, o que ele disse, with ancora, less par, you have... What? Can you repeat that point?
Yeah. When you have less par, there's more variation in colors. Like you get a little bit more red color. And high par, one of the color will be more dominant. And it's usually like the yellow color that comes out, or the gold color. It gets very, very gold. but it really depends on the look you're going for. Personally, I like hammers in lower light because I enjoy watching more colors
Me too.
versus things that are like extremely bright. You know, those are cool, but I have my torches for that.
Com um par mais baixo, com menos luz, vocês vão ter uma paleta de cores muito maiores nesses tipos de corais. Se você tiver um par mais alto, você vai ter uma predominância de uma cor, que aí depende de cada espécie. Olha só que aula nós estamos tendo aqui hoje, galera, disso aqui. Entendeu? Então, uma coisa a gente sempre falou, a galera geralmente quer aumentar a cor para LPS e aí fica com uma cor predominante, ou até reprodução. Já existe uma associação que uma reprodução não acontece com um par muito alto. Tá? E eu vou fazer essa pergunta. Eu vou fazer essa pergunta para ele agora. Danny, let me do a question by myself here that I have. Do you think... Ué, deixa eu ver aqui. Do you think that high par can be something that we're gonna make your coral not to reproduce in the reef tank?
Not to reproduce, like spawn?
Yeah, spawn.
Or like split heads. Spawn?
Spawn.
High par, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think spawning, like I was working on spawning a couple years ago, and we found that torches spawn a lot when you heavily feed them for a couple weeks, and then you do a big water change, and then you turn the flow off. Like the flow can be off for a few hours, and they will just spawn. Like it's just amazing. And we just found it out by accident because we used to do a lot of live cell. And when you're doing live cell, you have to show the coral. So we turn the flow off for like hours, and we would come back at the end of the day and like all the torches are spawning. And I don't think high par has anything to do with that. So we do high par and low par, and they all
they spawning as well. Okay.
They spawn as well, right?
So just repeat: feeding a lot, water change, and stop the flow.
And cut the flow for hours, not like
cut
10
the flow
minutes
for
feed,
hours.
Yeah,
Pessoal,
like a couple hours.
Olha o que vocês estão aprendendo aqui hoje. Estudos que ele fez aqui, independente de par alto ou par baixo. Tá? Alimenta os corais pra caramba. Alimenta os torch. Faz uma troca de água e corta a circulação por horas. 3 ou 4 horas. Tá aí. Só testar, galera. Because here there are many reef keepers that are frustrated because they don't see, torch spawning in their reef, and we have other guys that have a lot of spawning, So yeah, you are giving them at least a way to follow. Okay.
Yeah, I think with this hobby, all you need is like an idea, and then a lot of people trying to run with idea and experiment, and then feedback so we can all learn. The important thing is you gotta document and give feedback, right?
Yeah. But my advice would be don't dirty your water doing that, okay? Keep low nutrients first, stabilize your reef and try that, maybe. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Good. Let me see more questions I have here. We are moving to the end, my friend. I know that you have other stuff to do. Is there any relation, identifying torch male or female? Do you have this differentiation in colonies?
I don't know that one, but when you have torch spawn, you do see some torch that will spit out eggs, and then some will spit out a cloud of sperm. I haven't paid attention to see if the role ever get reversed, like if the same torch ever spits sperm or not, where they're maybe dual.
But
sex.
Do you have?
I don't know that.
Do you have spawning on reefs that you have 2 colonies of the same species, or just one colony and will be enough to spawn that colony?
I've never had a reef where I only have one torch, so I don't know that. Usually when the torches spawn, it's always the same species though. Like when I have a lot of dragon tamers and the dragon tamers spawn, it seems like only the dragon tamers are spawning. Or when I have holy grails uh with dragon souls or green torches, it's only the holy grails that are spawning. So there, I feel like there's some sort of communication between species where it's
Oh yeah,
chemical. It's probably chemical
it's
of that
chemical.
one
Yeah,
species that might be
for sure.
different. But we do get torches that are hybrid as well, like grafted torches. So maybe some trigger happens where two type of torches are spawning at the same time. But that's up for the scientists.
And for a coral spawning, you can have the torch spawning with just one colony in one reef, correct? That's okay.
That I've seen it happen. As far as will the spawn actually produce a baby, I don't know if you can have that. Just because there are two sexes, right? Like there's the eggs and the sperm in the torches, and I don't see them spawning and then fertilizing it themselves.
Okay,
So
okay.
my opinion would be I don't think it's possible.
Ok. Primeiro, a maioria dos spawns, a maioria das desovas de torte que ele vê são mais de uma colônia da mesma espécie no aquário. Da mesma espécie, tá? Ele não viu ou ele não tem evidências que uma colônia sozinha pode colocar os ovos e os gametas, entendeu? Tá? Para se reproduzir no aquário, tá? Mas ele já viu duas espécies diferentes criar um graft, por exemplo. Isso ele já viu, tá? Muito legal. Joga mais pergunta aí, Bi. Ó. Manda lá. Manda aí, né? It's possible to create é possível criação em cativeiro de todos os corais da família Euphyllias. It's possible to create a captive husbandry of all families of Euphyllias. I think so. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't see any problem. Today it's more often and it's more dominated Euphyllias than Acroporas. It's much more difficult. No, you need to have a whole support for Acropora spawning, for example. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm actually working with a foundation in the Dominican Republic, where he's actually saving corals from the reef. We helped them save some like I think they're brain corals. Basically, he's trying to save fragments of that and get them to spawn to restore the reef, because the local reef is dying. Yeah. So we're working with him on how to do that. So it's a very interesting idea. He's getting them to spawn by varying the temperature and the salinity throughout the years. So it's definitely possible. It's just our reef tank doesn't follow the same moon cycle or the cycle that an actual reef does. So we're not going to get that spawning in our tank because it's too stable.
Ele está trabalhando com a República Dominicana, com uma fundação exatamente para um dos corais. Lá tinha um coral cérebro para reprodução em cativeiro e população do Recife de Coral, tá? Onde eles estão tendo branqueamento e perda de coral lá. Vai, põe isso daí, vai. O ozônio integrado com ultravioleta gera hidroxila, e isso seria um equipamento necessário para ajudar a combate infecções bacterianas nos corais. Beleza, mas o que ele disse, eu concordo também com quem colocou aqui a pergunta, né? Mas o que ele disse é que o brown jelly não sai lá do coral, ele não está na coluna de água. Ele não está na coluna d'água, ele está dentro do coral. E aí, não ajuda. Someone is saying that UV with ozone, we're gonna help of bacterial infections on corals. Yes, I think it's gonna help, but it's not solve the problem, correct?
Yeah. Right. Definitely anything is gonna help. ozone will kill anything that it touches. It's gonna help the free flowing bacteria. UV is gonna do the same thing. If you can get it through the UV, killing it, of course it's gonna help. But the problem is it's not gonna solve it because you cannot get all the water column through the UV before the bacteria replicate. That's not possible. Unless you have a giant UV.
Mesmo que você tiver um UV gigantesco, ele não vai conseguir matar a quantidade de bactérias com a velocidade que elas conseguem se reproduzir lá dentro do coral. É isso. Vai, Lucão. Manda aí. Jeff, pergunta para ele se já pensou ou já existe o protocolo KFC em um frasco, só na medida correta, ou por quanto tempo ele faz os banhos, de 12 ou 24 horas. Isso aí, o tempo ele já respondeu, que já fez até de 24 horas. Someone is asking if you already have the idea to put all that KFC protocol in one bottle and sell like sell that.
Well, we thought about it, but I don't think that we have the resources or the lab or the tests to have a company do that, you know. And that's not really the objective of the KFC dip. I mean, our objective was to initially save our own coral, and it worked so well, we shared it on our website, so you can go out, get your own ingredient, did what we did, and see the same results. As far as trying to make something and patent it and stuff like that, that's not the direction that we want to go on that. I would like to go in a completely different direction where now we can save corals. Let's find a way to save corals, maybe, and not use antibiotics at all. You know, like maybe something.
Maybe we find something natural.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be the direction, because now we can use something natural and save our coral reef, because there's no way to dump antibiotics into the ocean without some adverse effect, right? We can do it in more controlled environment, like a small reef tank, a big reef tank, but in the end of the day, it's something that we can control. But I don't think that's going to be a long-term solution. It's a great solution when you have $100,000 worth of coral that's dying daily. Use antibiotics, save it, then find a solution that's non-antibiotics related.
Ele diz que sim, já pensaram, mas não é a direção que... Primeiro que eles não têm recurso, ele não tem recurso para fazer isso. Isso deve custar caro, né? Tá? Para produzir um produto assim, o Wesley. E que o que ele quer fazer é que o negócio está disponível aí, qualquer um vai fazer e resolveu o problema. Tá? Acho que é por aí. E se surgir uma coisa que é natural, substituir os antibióticos. Que isso é algo muito legal. Talvez uma coisa natural. Vai, Lucão. Is it possible to... é a mesma pergunta. Have you seen the Brazilian coral called Scolimia welsii? Someone is asking you here.
I've seen the welsii, but I don't seen anything from Brazil getting coral.
Yeah,
the
welsii Scolimia is basically green and blue. Okay, it's endemic for Brazil, I think, in Caribbean. I can send you some pictures. Maybe we can exchange. Let's give the news at the end for them. You know, the announcement. And I'm gonna push this, and I'm gonna send a picture of this to you. Okay.
Lembra as Australis, né?
Yeah, it's remind the Scolimia australis, but it's only green and blue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. Jeff, this big variety of colors that have been showing in all these farms with different parameters can be propagated in the future for the reef, for the coral reef in the future. So this all these colorations that we have in the reef tank can maybe in the future, by accident, you know, can appear in the reef, coral reef.
Oh, was that a question for me?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I would say at all costs, do not put your coral back into the reef tank unless you're a science foundation that only put local corals into the local reef. I wouldn't take corals from Indonesia and put it in Australia because we want Indo corals in Australia. I think introducing foreign species into a different reef, like we've done that in the past, right? And it's wreak havoc on the local system. I think preservation is much more than having a coral reef that has more of the corals that we like.
Yeah.
So I hope that never happens.
Yeah. We can introduce something that can be out of control. Yeah.
Exactly. I hope that never happens. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the question here is related that every year new species and new colorations are coming up for us as a reef keepers. Are these all new species that we are discovering, or are new colors that are being showed up in our reefs? What do you think?
I see. I think the colors are showing up in our own reef. For instance, Holy Grail, maybe 10, 15 years ago, nobody wanted, right? It was a green torch. It was $35 a colony, and nobody wanted a green torch. But then what were we running? We're running T5, no color on T5, not blue. Then LED came out. Then we got blue lights. Then orange filters comes out, right? And so everything started looking better and better, and we were able to tweak it. So I don't think we found a new species of course all of a sudden everything's nice now. I think our technology, our lighting, our amino acids or food is bringing out those colors in those type of coral.
O que ele está dizendo é o seguinte, que há muito tempo atrás, por exemplo, quando se usava T5, um ASD era um torch green, verde. E que agora, com o surgimento de T5, aminoácidos e blá, 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 começou a aparecer várias cores. Alguns são espécies, outros são diferenças de cores. Olha a pergunta do Parsas lá. Um abraço, Parsas. Valeu. Vou te vejo lá no Aquaguaru, hein? Manda.
A continuação.
Yeah, is the continuation of the question. Entendemos, é isso aí mesmo. É isso aí, Parsas. É isso aí. Essas espécies provavelmente não existem.
Sim.
Yeah, we have a question here. Is it possible to have a unique reef with all corals, SPS, LPS, soft, NTS, all the species and colors? I think it's possible, my friend, but we are gonna call you, like God. you have.
I think if you have a big enough,
Yeah, we will have a big problem. Let me make this question better for you, my friend Thiago. What are the most difficult type of reef tank you believe is it? By order of difficulty. For example, soft coral, very easy, correct? The next one, LPS or dedicated Acropora?
I would say an LPS tank is more difficult than an SPS tank.
Woohoo! Yeah.
So you agree? So SPS, it doesn't take much for an SPS tank to be happy. You give it flow, you give it light, you give it food. Don't touch the tank, you're done. With LPS, let's say SPS, you have something nipping at the coral, you have angelfish in the SPS tank, you break a branch off, it'll grow, it's happy. LPS, you get damage, now you get brown jelly, and then now something eats the brown jelly, or the tentacle gets stuck on a can, it starts killing it. Now, because of dead dying matters, you can have this sludge, and it makes it very difficult. With LPS, you don't give it too much light, not enough light, too much flow, not enough flow, they're just not happy. And then when they grow, they shade and the bottom stuff die. So I think LPS tank is to me, more difficult than SPS tank. We're constantly looking at our LPS. SPS, just don't touch, leave it alone, and it just grows.
Perguntei para ele, em nível de dificuldade, qual seria um aquário mais difícil? Coral soft, mais fácil. Depois, um coral de LPS ou Acropora? Qual seria mais fácil dos dois? Ele falou, SPS. SPS você coloca lá dentro, entendeu? Põe luz, baixa nutriente, entendeu? Vai fazer tudo sozinho. Circulação e vai, entendeu? LPS, as colinas começam a crescer, começam a fazer sombra, começa a perder tecido, brown jelly, e um começa a encostar no outro, cresce, você tem que arrumar, é constante, você tem que ficar sempre de olho no aquário. Então, aqui fica o recado. And the most difficult, a mixed reef tank, probably, correct?
Yeah, most difficult would be bounce. I think bounce mushrooms are the most difficult for me.
Bounce, okay.
Like in a mixed reef, yeah, they just some just don't do well. Others do. Mixed reef, definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the toughest tank to ever keep is a nano tank.
Oh,
if you have a tank that's less than, if you have a tank that's less than 10, 20 gallon and you keep it for years, I have to give you a lot of respect because that's the one tank that fluctuates way more than anything else, and you have to keep up to it.
Okay, we have a project here called Battle of Nanos. Okay, we have 2 nanos.
Yeah.
One with filter sponge only, and a LED light. And another one, which is a small skimmer, is we have a back sump. We are in the 10th month. No water changes, but very high quality of water. And we are dosing Core 7 in these 2 tanks. They look great. But let's see if I can keep them for 2 years. And I will send you a movie. Ele disse que o aquário mais difícil para ele, na opinião dele, é manter por muitos anos um nano, tá? É um nano. Então, vamos ver se esses nossos 2 aqui a gente consegue manter por 2 anos, hein, William? Vamos ver. Tá? Mais, manda aí, Lucão. What type of LED light you use in your reef tanks? Maybe the problem is a polemic question. No? I don't know if you want to share that.
I think the LED we use, the China LED, right? So the spectrum is geared towards 420 for 30 nanometers, the light blue. We've grown corals with all type of lights. It doesn't matter what light you give it. You give it enough power, you give it enough light, enough food, and they'll grow. So the LED you use should be geared towards what you like your tank to look like. Everything else is, I don't think everything else is that important. Light is light. They're gonna get food. They're gonna use light to photosynthesize and grow. Some light will look better than others. So I think any LED will work. Any light will work.
Ele usa luminárias chinesas e ele diz que acha que, principalmente para LPS, não seria o fator de sucesso. Qualidade de água, water quality, parameters, stable, and so on, correct? I agree with you. Ele acha que isso não é para LPS um fator de sucesso, principalmente porque você usa par baixo, né? E vai ter mais cor com menos par. Vai, mais 2. 2 more questions and we are done, my friend, okay?
Okay.
About torches from different regions, Indonesia, Australia, same species, but from different regions. Do you believe they can touch or they will have a chemical war?
As far as chemical warfare, I don't think it's chemical. I think it's more bacteria that's on the core that they're fighting, right? But you can have torches from the same region not being able to touch. And then you can have torches from different region touching for years. Then one day they just fight. To be safe, I would say 99% of the time, torches can touch each other from different region, as long as they're all treated. There's going to be 1% where like 2 torches don't like each other, but you move them and they can touch other torches just fine. I don't think it's region related. We don't do a lot of Australia torches because we have not gotten a handle on keeping them alive long term. So we just try it once in a while, but we never get mass quantity. We might buy one or two from people or the wholesale and try it. And if we can't keep it, we won't sell it. It has to be long term sustainable.
A pergunta foi se eu poderia misturar corais tortes da Indonésia e da Austrália, se eles teriam uma guerra química ou não, tá? Pergunta do Alexandre. E o que ele disse é que 90% dos casos, tortes, Euphyllias, vão se dar bem. Mas ele já pegou caso de torte da Indonésia, colocar ali e tá indo tudo bem. De repente começa a se estranhar. Então é mais ou menos isso aí. O que ele acredita que isso seja não guerra química, mas guerra de bactéria de cada um dos corais. Tá? É muito legal. This guy that asks this question, he have probably 40 types of torches in one reef, you know. This is why he's asking this question. I'm gonna copy you in one of these his posts. It's a beautiful reef, yeah. Good.
Nice. It's the same thing with NIM. It's the same problem with NIM. People say Chicago, Colorado cannot touch, or Inferno and other NIM can't touch. And we actually did a tank with all type of NIM, Chicago, Inferno, Supernova, Rainbow, Green, Bubble Tip, Long Tentacle, and we treat them all with antibiotics and they can touch. Then they say, oh, it's culture versus wild. Okay, we'll bring in some wild one, treat them. Oh, they're not touching, they're in the same water. Okay, we'll move them, they touch. And we had NEMs like, oh, it's a ticking time bomb. 1 year they'll die. Okay, I guess we'll have to keep it for more than 1 year. After 1 year, they're fine. We're like, okay, we're done with NEM, we're tired. We prove our point. It's not the NEM chemical warfare that's killing each other. You can't keep NEM together. You just gotta make sure like the system has been cleaned or treated, then they can be together.
Mesma coisa com a anêmona. Mesma coisa. Diferente espécie de anêmona, etc. Mesma coisa. Aí eles pegam, tratam com antibiótico, coloca todo mundo junto e elas estão bem. Ah, mas isso daí é cultivado em cativeiro, por isso que elas estão indo junto. Aí você pega da natureza, coloca, vão bem um tempo, depois começam a ir mal. Então é normal. Última. Deu? Tá bom? Let me show to the people here too. Uma pergunta. Sobre os corais goniópora, existem elementos para ele essencial para sucesso em cativeiros dos... Como os corais goniópora. Okay. So, it's well known that gonióporas uses kind of an element like manganese. Is there any element in your experience that are more responsive for torches and frogs and hammers?
We do ICP tests. We're all low on manganese and iodine, bromine, and iron. So once we do the ICP test, we do dose manganese and bromine. I don't do a lot of iron because I don't think the torches really need that. But one of the most important element would be
You
magnesium.
mean iodine? You said iodine?
Iodine, right?
Okay.
So ICP test, you have to have iodine for LPS and soft corals. You can't be too low and it can't be too high. ICP test is the only way to test for the proper level. But for the most part, at home, you want to test for magnesium. I find that when magnesium drops below 1200, you start having problem with torches. So we always keep magnesium, 1350 at least, all the way up to 1500. We're going to be shooting for 1400 from now on. Too much magnesium makes your snails go crazy. They just flip upside down. So we're going to lower the magnesium a little bit for the snails. So 1400 is what we're going to shoot for now.
Para ele, dos principais parâmetros magnésio para os torches. 1400, 1500. Tá? E ele faz esse CP regularmente para repor. Manganês, cara, o que ele está dizendo aqui, ó, é benéfico para os torches também. Iodo, potássio, falou vários macros aqui agora também. Então é isso aí, não é só... O manganês responde muito às gonióporas, mas os outros corais também usam, tá? So, Danny, let's make a good announcement here. Thanks for being with us here 2 hours, man. You are invest a lot of time here, but I think it's crucial and benefic for the hobby in the region. Thank you so much. We really appreciate people here love you. You know, they are here for 2 hours hearing from and watching you. You know, and myself. I'm not too funny and not too experienced like you, but people are eager to have corals like you have in Kung Fu corals, não? Então, pessoal, nós vamos fazer um anúncio aqui agora, tá? E todo mundo é louco pelos corais que se tem nos Estados Unidos. Isso é uma coisa óbvia, né? E como vocês sabem, é algo meio difícil a importação desses tipos de corais para cá. Então, so Danny, just tell a little bit what you are doing working with Kewsley at Ipiranga to have this type of corals here in Brazil. Ele tem trabalhado com Kewsley, então parabéns Kewsley pela iniciativa de trazer esses corais aqui para o Brasil.
So Kewsley, he contacted me about getting some of our special Acropora, and I thought would be the best way is to kind of set them up with my sources. And so the great news is the quality of the coral that you guys will be getting in Brazil is the exact same quality that I'm going to be getting from this one supplier. Kewsley is going to be exclusive to get this type of coral. When he's ready, he'll announce what type of corals they are. But for the guys that are loving SPS, you're going to be in for a shock on some of the stuff that's going to come in for you. So very difficult to get anywhere else. But I will let Kewsley make that announcement for you.
Então o que ele está dizendo é que nós entramos em a Ipiranga entrou em um acordo com a Kung Fu Corals, e a Ipiranga vai vai importar esses corais da mesma fonte que a Kung Fu Corals levou anos aí para debulhar e chegar em todos esses corais maravilhosos que vocês veem aí. Sigam aqui então. I'm just showing to them, you know, your Instagram webpage that you have many unique pieces here, you know. For example, fala aí, William, uma coisa, um torte maravilhoso que você gostaria de ver aqui, por exemplo. Fala um nome lá que você já viu lá deles aí. For example, this dragon tamer, KFC dragon tamer. Yeah, that is, man, this is so beautiful.
That is a beautiful torch. It goes by many names. People call them banana, holy grail. The original name was Reef Dream Dragon Tamer.
Reef Dream Dragon. Wow.
Dragon Tamer, yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Tamer.
Beautiful torch, green base, gold with blue tips. You get the right spectrum on that, and it looks like a beautiful torch. You get wrong spectrum light on it, it looks like a really ugly Indo-Nix torch. So like that's a very cool torch.
Very cool. I love it, that, man. I wanted one in my reef tank here. Okay.
Beautiful torch. Yeah.
Hologram hammer too. Hologram hammer.
So that hammer is very unique because I've had it in the hobby for maybe 4 years. Nobody really had it, only a few people. And just recently, I would say the end of 2023 to now, suppliers from Indo got their hands on it and they're mirror coaching it now. So it's a lot more available. Unfortunately, it does take a long time to really color up to the aquaculture ones. It's getting close, but it's taking a long time. It's a beautiful hammer that a truly rainbow hammer, not a gold with a little green.
No,
it's truly rainbow. When you see it in person, it's an amazing piece.
Ele disse que esse coral aqui é relativamente novo, que agora que eles estão fazendo o aquaculture dele, né? E que é uma peça fenomenal também, né? No, it's just to name a few. Violent, no, Holy Grail, okay. Rapunzel. Esse conhece?
Rapunzel, yeah.
Yeah. Esse já tem
Yeah.
aqui. Ok. No. William say that we have this type here.
Yeah.
Starburst. Conhece?
Starburst, right?
Wow.
Well, the Starburst Holy Grail is similar to like most other Holy Grail. The unique thing is it's a lot more yellow, and the tentacles is a lot thicker, and the tip has a lot more blue in it. So
É
it's
mais
just
grosso os
imagine,
tentáculos, né?
yeah, imagine a Holy Grail that's more deep water, so everything's just bigger.
Uau. Ele é mais denso, né? Ele tá falando aqui, tá? Wow. You say can hear. Nice, man. I believe it's wow. Pessoal, vocês têm que entrar na página da KFC agora e ver que a maioria desses corais aqui, ou boa parte deles, a Ipiranga vai ter aqui muito em breve. Então, essa parceria que o Kingsley desenvolveu junto com a Ipiranga, e nós estamos dando uma força trabalhando junto aqui com o Danny, exatamente para trazer esse nível de coral aqui para o Brasil, que antes não era conhecido. So, acros, Lucani, what other acros you like it? Just tell them.
Millipores, we're getting a lot of millipores from Solomon Island that finally opened up and available now. So we're able to get millipore. We're going to be getting 300 colonies of acros from Solomon, including tenuous, deepwater, speciosa, locani.
I'm just showing the pink speciosa here. Pink speciosa.
Oh, that's
man.
So that is extremely unique. Out of 1,000 colony, literally 1,000 colony, we got one that was all pink, not just a pink center, because a lot of them will have pink and red, but there was one colony that was completely pink, the tissue all the way to the tip. Extremely rare. Very, very, very cool piece.
Yeah.
Never seen one like that again.
Wow,
Yeah.
Wow.
1 out of 1,000 that
Ele
we
disse
saw.
que 1 em 1.000 chegou para ele assim, e aí agora eles estão cultivando ela aí, etc. Cara, eles pegam o que aparece de raro e começam a cultivar nos aquários. É isso, entendeu? So, my friend, thanks a lot. We will always be grateful for this participation in our show here, and the doors are open for you. We are going to invite you for a trip in Brazil. Okay.
I would love to go travel. So I have 2 young kids right now, and my wife. So every time we go somewhere, I want to spend time with my family. So we're planning vacations around places where I can take off for a couple of days or a day, and actually go meet people that I've met on Instagram, like Dominican Republic, right? Brazil, South America, Europe. I want to take that chance to spend time with the family, but then also get a chance to meet all these great people that I've been talking to online.
Yeah.
Brazil will be one of my stops.
Yeah, put in your list. You're gonna love it. You know, the food here, you know, the lifestyle. People are happy here. We have nice reef tanks here. We have nice reef tanks. People come to Brazil and say you are so creative with less resources you have. So that's the summary of Brazil, okay? But thank you so much. Thanks for the partnership. Let's try to improve all this information around prophylaxis of corals, because we're gonna help reef tankers to keep their corals more healthy. Tô agradecendo para ele aqui, agradecendo a parceria, dizendo que a gente está muito feliz em poder compartilhar com ele toda essa informação, trazer para vocês e ter corais mais saudáveis. Just say a few words for the people and we're done, man.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Jeff. Well, 2 hours fly because you're having a lot of fun. Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. One thing I do want to leave people with is, like, I get a lot of questions about antibiotics, and I just want to be clear to people that should be the last resort. You know, if you have to save your coral, by all means, do it. But please take care of your tank, do your regular maintenance. Use all your other resources, and then antibiotics would be the last thing you want to do. The last thing we want to do is abuse it, right? We want to have it handy in case of a great emergency. So don't think about the KFC dip as a miracle. It is a miracle that we have it now, but don't think about the go-to solution. It should be your last solution. You've done everything you can. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach me out on Instagram. I don't mind sharing information and helping people. And I would love to see, Kusley, some of the acro you're getting in. If you're getting in better acros than me, I'm going to have to talk to the supplier and have him send me some of those as well.
Yeah, you'll see my acros here. I have microclados. I have a good species of microclados here.
Microclados, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, again.
Thank
awesome,
you,
man.
Thank you, also. You also
have a
too.
great day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Pode encerrar a live dele. Põe tudo aí. Põe aí na tela. Tô aqui, Tigre. Valeu, Tigre. Muito obrigado pelo superchat, galera. 22. Fala. Boa noite, Jeff. Acabei de derrubar meu GIF direto no Samp. Meu GIF?
É GFO.
O GFO, prestando atenção na live. Espalhou por todo o Samp e display. Torts fecharam na hora. Dani, há algum problema? Cara, teu GFO, acho que não vai acontecer. Cara, joga. Minha dica é o seguinte, ó. Coloca uma bomba com a mangueira e joga fluxo por cima dos corais. Fraco, não forte. Se você quiser pegar a tua bomba também de circulação, jogar por cima, assim, para tirar essas partículas de cima. Mas não joga forte. Coloca numa velocidade baixa, tá? Cara, o GFO tá na água. O máximo que você vai ter que fazer é recolher isso aí, aspirar depois. Tá? Mas com o tempo, o GFO, ele desintegra, ele vai sendo consumido. Tá? Não vejo um problema grande. A não ser que é um GFO, então ele é um óxido ferroso. Tá? Se fosse de alumínio, aí seria um problema. Tá? Não vejo muito... Mas posso mandar a tua pergunta para ele depois, tá bom? Que mais? Deu? Galera, muito obrigado pela participação. Esse podcast foi épico, cara. Olha o cara como é gente boa, hein, William? Não é?
Solisto, né?
Solisto não guarda nada, não tem segredo. Ele simplesmente não quis falar a luminária que ele usa. Só isso, mais nada. Até porque ele falou, usa uma luminária chinesa. Quebrou as pernas de todo mundo, hein? O que você aprendeu aí? Você gostou?
Eu acho que amanhã vai ter muita gente tentando fazer desova de torche, né?
Amanhã a galera vai estar enchendo de comida, fazendo TPA e desligando a circulação. E aí, Shunk, aprendeu aí Não, o Lucas queria... eu vou assistir a live inteira só pra saber como é que é desova de torte, né? Eu falei, o cara... Ele já tinha me falado, né? É um negócio tão simples, né, galera? Tu vê como é que... Quem que ia imaginar isso, né? A sequência de coisa ali. Louco.
Da temperatura também é bem... Né?
Cara,
bem legal,
a temperatura,
né?
olha que coisa legal, hein, cara? 23 graus. 23 graus. Ele começa a ver morte a partir de 26. Também me impressionou isso aí. Muito louco. Galera, amanhã, quem quiser falar mais amanhã, live, 7h45 da manhã, tá? Lá no Instagram, a gente discute mais, mas hoje chega, trabalhamos pra caramba, a galera quer ir embora aqui. Valeu, agora sim. Valeu, Bin Laden.
Quase, acabou.
Beleza, valeu, William, obrigado. A turma toda que participou, desculpa não poder ter respondido todas as perguntas, mas acho que a gente abordou praticamente tudo que era coberto aí, né, por vocês em tudo isso aí. Então, galera, valeu, muito obrigado, um beijo no coração de vocês. Próxima quarta-feira, podcast aqui no Riff Tech. Valeu, abraço.